Hi everybody. I'd like to bring to you the parable of the sower, Matthew 13, and maybe look at it in a different way this morning. It goes like this. That same day, Jesus went out of the house and sat beside the sea. Such great crowds gathered around him, and he got into a boat and he sat there. The whole crowd stood on the beach. And he told them many things in parables, saying, "Listen, a sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seeds fell on the path and the birds came and ate them up. Other seeds fell on rocky ground where they did not have much soil, and they sprang up quickly since they had no depth of soil. But when the sun rose, they were scorched, and since they had no roots, they withered away. Other seeds fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Other seeds fell on good soil and brought forth grain, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. Let anyone with ears listen." And then he goes to explain the purpose of parables. Then the disciples came and asked him, "Why do you speak to them in parables?" He answered, "To you it's been given to know the secrets of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it's not been given. For to those who have, more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who have nothing, even what they have will be taken away. The reason I speak to them in parables is that seeing they do not perceive, and hearing they do not listen, nor do they understand. With them indeed is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah that says, 'You will indeed listen, but never understand. And you will indeed look, but never perceive. For this people's heart has grown dull, and their ears are hard of hearing. They have eyes shut, so that they might not look with their eyes, and listen with their ears, and understand with their hearts, and turn, and I would heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Truly I tell you, many prophets and righteous people longed to see what you see, but did not see it, and to hear what you hear, but did not hear it." And then Jesus goes on to explain the understanding that he wants them to have of the parable of the sower. And it's a wonderful parable. And people talk about the parable of the seed if they want to concentrate on the seed. And some people will talk about the parable of the soil because it's about the soil. But it is actually described as the parable of the sower. So it must be about the sower. Now, for me, one of the things that I read when I read this, and I just want to show you my Bible, this is the Wesley Study Bible. Hallelujah. NRSV, Wesley Study Bible. You should all have one if you're a Methodist. Anyway, I don't really want to plug it that much, but it is very, very good. But for me, what strikes me in this parable is that the sower knows that if he sows abundantly, that some will fall over there and some will fall over there, and it's better to sow it here, but yet he sows all over anyway. He sows regardless. It's the abundant generosity of the sower which I see in this. He sows and he sows and he sows, and you'll be surprised where he showers his goodness. You'll be surprised where he imparts his good news. And I kind of was reflecting just a little bit on that. And I was looking at our drive, actually, which I jet washed just a couple of weeks ago when it was hot. In our drive, there are cracks. And in those cracks, little bits of grass grows. But in one of the cracks round the back, there's a poppy that's grown, a lovely orange, wild poppy in the crack. Now, I didn't sow it there. Of course I didn't. but it must have blown from a seed and it's implanted itself, but it's still grown and it's still feeding the bees and it's still a symbol of beauty. And in other places, I've literally like dug out the little flower or the little plant that's grown and I've replanted it where I know the ground is better and fertile, where it'll have more of a chance. And I wonder whether there's something of that in the heart of the sower. That our circumstances are all really different, aren't they? They're so different, and yet the sower just sows abundantly. The sower knows that some of that seed might be wasted, but actually some of it might be saved because other people look and see, and they see beauty and they see the potential of something growing between the cracks. So I do wonder whether that kind of interpretation of this parable might be helpful to you, whether it's helpful actually to all of us. That sometimes we see the little seedlings growing in the strangest of places and we see their potential. And we could walk away and ignore them and they would wither and they would die or they get walked on or stamped on. But we have the power to help. We have the power to pick up and move to much more fertile, good soil where surely that little plant's life will grow and reach its full potential. Maybe there's something of the sower's heart in all of that. That when Jesus says that the workers are few, but the harvest is plenty, maybe there's something in that which links to this parable, which says don't just think the harvest is in this particular area. The harvest could actually be in places we'd never thought about before. And surely that is something we as people with an evangelistic heart, a desire for people to know and hear the gospel of Christ, maybe there's something in that which we need to take home with us. So may you look in the cracks, and if something needs rescuing, why don't you rescue it and plant it in your garden where it will be tended and it will grow. Take care, everybody. God bless.